Hi, hello, welcome back to another episode of Musings podcast. I'm your host Gungo Mildred, and I'm so happy that you've joined me today again to cover, listen to my musings. I'm so honored. Thank you so much for the people who've been listening to every episode. Thank you so much. I know there are not so many of you because I get like 4 or 5 views, at most 7, but I'm super grateful for those people because at least it shows that there's people who come again and again to try and support me every week. So I'm so thankful. For those who have subscribed already, thank you so much. Continue please listening. Don't just subscribe and walk away. Subscribe and always endeavor to come back every week when I upload an episode, because I'm really trying. It's really difficult trying to put out these episodes without Wi-Fi, but I'm really trying to do so because I really want some consistency in my life, and I feel this is one thing that I can have control over. A lot of aspects in my life I don't have control over, but this one I feel like if I just keep at it, maybe it will make sense at some point. But for now, I'm doing all I can. So you don't know how much it means to me that there are people who come back and listen every week. So thank you. Thank you so much. So on today's episode, I'm continuing the story about my time in Sharjah last year. So as I mentioned last Saturday, I wanted to talk about one of the people that we were sharing an apartment with. I won't use her real name. I'll call her Lulu because I just don't want to do that to her. But yeah, she was crazy. Like, she was all over the place. So anyway, for those who do not know, I went to Sharjah last year on the 20th of January. I stayed there for 2 months. I came back on the 18th of March. And it was a lovely time, but it was also very stressful for me. So on the Saturday episodes, I decided to just tell a little bit of what I experienced over there during this time. So it's like a 1 year anniversary sort of thing. So I wanted to be telling a few stories that I saw or experienced while I was there. So I arrived on the 20th at around 9 p.m. UAE time. So when I arrived, my roommate, whose story is somehow intertwined with Lulu's. So I'm not going to speak about my roommate today, but she'll be mentioned a lot. And for the sake of the story, the lady who was renting the apartment to us, I'm just going to be calling her the landlady instead of, because it's just so much bureaucracy or whatever. I won't go into that. So I'll just call her the landlady. And yeah, so the other people will just talk about them as we go. So when I arrived, my roommate, she's a hairstylist, so she was making hair for a couple of ladies in the room. And so she asked Lulu, because okay, I think I'll have to talk about this for those people who did not listen for those people who did not listen to last Saturday's episode, I'm going to have to repeat how this apartment thing works in the UAE for us Africans mostly. Actually, it's for everybody, but I'm going to talk about Africans. So I already told you about the bed space story. So I was not in a bed space. I was in a partition. So a partition is a shared room. So like you have 2 beds or 3 sometimes, and you have their partitioned with curtains. But the room that was in, it wasn't partitioned. It was just 2 beds, and we were sharing the rest of the space. So but how it works, that it's an apartment. So all of you enter through the same door, one whole apartment. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. So the landlady was living in the living room with her son. They had a door for privacy and stuff. And then there's this couple, Lulu and her boyfriend. They were living in one of the, let's say, the guest bedroom, because it had like a king size bed and an inbuilt wardrobe. And then my roommate and I were living in the second bedroom. So Lulu, her boyfriend, and my roommate and I, we were sharing one bathroom. And then the landlady had her own with her son. And then all of us shared the same kitchen. So that was the arrangement. So we're like a big family living in the same space. So When I arrived, of course, Lulu and my roommate were already friends. They had been living in a bed space before. So my roommate, what she used to do before is like she will take a huge room and rent it, and then she will bring people. Whenever people will say they're coming from Kenya, she will be the one renting the rooms to them, the beds to them. So she had beds and she would partition the rooms and rent them out for these other people. So when Lulu arrived in Sharjah, she lived in one of the partitions with my roommate. So that's how they got to know each other. So they started being friends from way back. And then when now they wanted some privacy and Lulu got together with her boyfriend, they wanted a space that they could all have their own, partitioned rooms. So Lulu moved in with her boyfriend and then they got there. And then my roommate moved in into the apartment, into the room that I found her in. Now, there's a lot of a backstory there between them, a lot of shenanigans and stuff, but I won't get into that. I just want to focus on Lulu from the moment that I met her. So, meeting Lulu on the 20th of January 2024, how I met her is that she came into the room and she was like, oh, this lady from Kenya, ameshafika sasa habari ya Kenya. I was like, mzuri, but I always go with my gut. The moment I meet somebody, I'm usually quiet. And it's people might think it's rude or I'm shy or whatever, but it's like my body is trying to read that person's energy. And what I read from Lulu was a lot of a lot of bad juju. It wasn't like she's evil. It's that she was so callous and so, I don't know, mtutu wa bad manners. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Like she didn't feel like an upright person to me. But I've always been told not to close my mind off. So I was being open minded and everything. I tried to give her a chance. So I say hi, and then my roommate tells her to go and get me dinner. So my roommate had already cooked something so she can invite me to the apartment with. So they had made ugali and some beef and cabbage. So for those of you who will go like, what? Cabbage? Yeah, UAE hakuna mboga, my dears. So hakuna ati skuma, hakuna kinakunde mrenda nini. No, it's either cabbage or kuna hizi vegetables zingine hata sijui ni nini ama spinach. Like, but she had made cabbage. It was good. It was a good gesture. So I enjoyed it. I loved it. I appreciated it. So I ate. After I finished, I went and washed my dish. Later on, her boyfriend came over and said hi as well. And the way she was hovering around him, I was like, yeah, I'm not interested. So her boyfriend is Senegalese, and I was like, okay, happy to meet you. And he was like, it's a pleasure meeting you, and with a West African accent. One thing, West Africans, all of them speak with the same accent. You might think that somebody is Nigerian, but no, they're Senegalese. So I was like, okay, it's a pleasure meeting you too. So they left. I took a shower, blah, blah, blah. Day ended. So the next day, things go on as well. I say hi. We're sharing the same kitchen. But then there's this thing that she shocked me with. So her boyfriend is the one who was working. Lulu wasn't working. So how they met is that Lulu's boyfriend, Lulu's boyfriend's brother is the one who was dating Lulu first. So when they were living in that big old partition where my roommate was renting for people. So yeah, they met while they were there. And then after he enjoyed himself with Lulu or whatever they were doing, it's like he passed her down to his brother. And so his brother was like, okay, because the older brother was not into a commitment. So he didn't want a committed relationship, but this younger brother wanted one. And there's this thing with West African men, they love light-skinned women. And Lulu was like light-skinned. Light skinned. And so this man used to just fawn over her. But now, this one took the cake. I don't want to give him a name, so let's just be calling him Lulu's boyfriend. So he took to her and they started dating, and he suggested they move in together. So he's the one who used to work. Funny thing, he used to work Dubai side. For those who have been to the UAE, you understand. Like if you're living in Sharjah and you're working in Dubai, it's better to just find a place in Dubai instead of traveling all day, like going to Dubai and then coming back to Sharjah in the evening. But because apartments are cheaper, the partitions and bed spaces are cheaper in Sharjah. People prefer living in Sharjah and working in Dubai. But then this guy, his job was providing them with, accommodations. But he chose to live with Lulu outside the accommodations. So that's why they were living in Sharjah, but he was working in Dubai. Now, Lulu she was like behaving like the housewife, which was good for the most part. But if you listen to my story last Saturday, you heard me talk about Diana. Diana and Lulu were best friends, like totally besties. And I'm sure you've had that thing of tell me about your friends and I'll tell you about you. That is exactly how these people are playing. So just like Diana was living with a man, a Ghanaian man, and dating two other men, Lulu was doing the same thing. At first, we didn't know. Actually, I didn't know until one day we were going to the supermarket and Lulu is like, I'll follow you. So my roommate and I were going to the supermarket and Lulu was like, I'll go with you guys. So I was like, oh, okay. So we walk and walk until we get to the corner we're supposed to take to go to the supermarket. But Lulu goes into one of the buildings. And I asked my roommate, where is she going? She laughs and she goes like to one of her boyfriends. And I'm like, what? This woman is kept by this guy. This guy provides everything for Lulu. He gives her pocket money, he feeds her, he pays the rent, and the rent for that room they were staying in, it was a lot of money. Like this guy was wasting almost all of his salary on her, and she had another man. And that was just the first one. There was another one apparently. Somebody she used to date Kitambo, and then they broke up, but every once in a while they used to meet and whatever. So that is the day that I found out that part. I was shocked because I was like, why? Anyway, so Lulu used to dress very, very interestingly. I don't know how to describe it. I know it's my dress, my choice, but no. This apartment we were living in, the landlady's brother-in-law and sister used to come sometimes to have dinner with them. The landlady had a son. By the time I was leaving, he turned 7 last year. So he was like a son, a boy who can see and understands things. But then this Lulu lady, she would take a shower in the evening when her man or her husband in quotes was coming in the evening, and she will dress in a sheer blouse and hot pants, or I don't know how to call this top, but for lack of a better explanation or word, I don't know, it's like a net. So she's dressed, but her nipples are coming through that net. And this is an apartment where there's a little boy. A little boy who is seeing and can understand is like, what is this? So that is one thing I was like, no, this is not okay. Number 2, I love my Kikuyu fans. I have Kikuyu family members, but yeah, I do Anyoba. The way she used to prepare fish, because in Sharjah we ate a lot of fish, because it was sort of cheaper. It was affordable. It is affordable. So we ate a lot of fish over there. The way this lady used to make fish, I mean, it used to annoy the hell out of me. Lulu would blend everything, the pepper, the everything, kitungu saumu nini, plus vitungu and everything. And then she will fry kitungu kiasi, alafu amwage this mixture into that thing, creating a thick soup. And then ateka hii samaki, bila hata kuifry. Aeke samaki mbili ndani, alafu hii samaki itaiva wewe. Itaiva iive ikuje ikue kama stew, so that the bones zime break ndani nini, like, and then she will serve them in these little bowls and make rice, alafu yake kwa tray apeleke her man, and this man just used to eat. Mi nilikuwa naangalia na kasirika because I'm like what the hell, like really what the hell. Alafu it wasn't just that, like it was just every other thing she used to cook. Me, I didn't like going to the kitchen while she was cooking because it used to annoy the hell out of me. But anyway, those were just misdemeanors according to everything else she was doing. So, fast forward, that day that Lulu followed us while we were going to the supermarket, her boyfriend was staying over at his workplace. So that's why Lulu went to this other boyfriend and she spent the night over there. She left her phone back at her apartment. So her boyfriend was calling and she wasn't responding until he called my roommate and was like, "Have you seen Lulu? Where is she?" And she was like, "I don't know. I think she's in the room. The door is locked. Maybe she's asleep." But the boyfriend knew that my roommate was lying. So the next day, it was one of my roommate's friends' birthday, and Lulu was also sort of friends with her. And they were supposed to go to this drinking den. I spoke about them in the previous episode. They were supposed to go to this drinking den and hold like a little party over there. So Lulu has come back. The boyfriend has been calling the entire evening, the previous day, and this day morning, and she wasn't answering. So by the time he comes back home in the evening, they start quarreling because where were you? Why didn't you answer your phone? Where was your phone? Blah 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 blah. Lulu's like, it was off. I don't know. Like a lot of excuses that weren't making sense. So the guy comes into our room and starts talking to my roommate. I wasn't listening to what they were saying, but basically he was just complaining about Lulu's behavior. Now, my roommate prepares and goes for the party, and they're like, "Hey, aren't you coming?" They're asking Lulu, and Lulu's like, "Yeah, I can't go. This guy's still upset. I need to stay back and placate him." So that happens. But Diana, Lulu's friend, she comes over and she's like, "Why aren't we going to the party?" And Lulu tells her, "If you want to go, you go. But I can't because my man is still upset. And he's telling me that I can go if I want to, but I know him. The undertone is do not dare leave this place." And Diana goes off on Lulu's boyfriend, starts mentioning all the exes he has ever had and saying like she met him a long time ago. I don't know. Like she caused a whole fracas. And Lulu got upset and was like, "Hey, you cannot come into my home and attack my boyfriend in a place that is the one who's paying the rent. So you have to leave." So Diana leaves. And that story, of course, it escalates. They come, my roommate comes, she was sort of the intermediary. They sit down and they talk about it and things cool down. The next Saturday comes. Yeah, we're fast forwarding again. Next Saturday comes. And so Diana and her boyfriend, her Ghanaian boyfriend, they come because the Ghanaian boyfriend was also friends with Lulu's boyfriend. So he comes over and he's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry. I had about what Diana did last weekend. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to come and apologize. Maybe we can have a few drinks, blah, blah, blah." And they talk. And then Lulu comes into our room because now she's uncomfortable with Diana and her boyfriend being in their room together with her man. So it's like she's trying to keep a distance from Diana. And Diana can ruin things for her because Diana knows about the other two boyfriends. So and she didn't have breaks. Like mdomo yake ongea. So they come and call us. Lulu comes and calls my roommate and I, and she's like, "Hey, come guys, we're buying drinks. Come, we drink in our room." I was like, "No," because the entire time I was there, I was just like, I don't want to drink with these people. I had seen how my roommate gets when she's drunk. She became rowdy and just unreasonable, and I don't know. And then these other guys, I cannot drink with people I do not know, people I do not trust. A lot of things happen to women when they're drunk with people they do not know. So I was not about to do that. So Lulu keeps insisting. My roommate eventually gives in after the two boyfriends, they come and call her. They're like, "Come now, come we go drink, come we party." And they go, they put music, they start listening, they start dancing and drinking and drinking and drinking. After a while, I hear a commotion and I'm like, what's happening? So remember me, I'm just like, I'm waiting. If I get what I came here for, fine. If I don't, I go back home. I'm not interested in dramas. I'm not interested in dating. I'm not interested in anything. That's not what brought me to this country. So I'm like, okay, fine. What is happening? So I try to ignore it because I was watching something on my laptop. So I try to ignore them. But then I'm like, "Hey, Nani, I would just go and check." So I open the door and I find my roommate coming out of the landlady's bathroom. And I'm like, "Why are you using that bathroom? You know she doesn't like it." And she's like, "Oh, there was somebody in that other bathroom when I was going." And why this guy shouting? They're like, fungua mlango, fungua, wacha mchezo. And they're calling my roommate's name and they're like, fungua mlango, hebu tufungulie. And now Lulu is like, mbona unafanya hivi? Mbona unafanya hivi? Fungua mlango. So my roommate comes and opens the door and Lulu comes out and she starts shouting at my roommate and like, why the hell did you do that? Mbona unatufungia huku hivi ndani? Ona kile huyu amefanya. Diana had broken their table. So they had a glass table. Diana broke a glass. Hey, yeah. Diana took one of the bottles they were drinking from and akaigonga kwa table sha. Na hii table pia ilikuwa glass. So the glass shattered, the bottle shattered and she tried to pierce. Like alijaribu kudunga the Lulu's boyfriend. Because I don't know how it escalated to that. But apparently, after everything had calmed down, but then they started drinking, they all got drunk, and they started talking nonsense now. Diana brought up old issues. They involved my roommate. My roommate started revealing everything because, I mean, with such kind of friendships, I don't know who needs enemies. But then they started causing drama. Lulu was there trying to placate everybody, trying to tell them to not go there. But everybody was saying something. Lulu goes back to, her friend Diana and it's like, just stop it. So that's when my roommate went out and locked them in. Because she was like, what is this nonsense? So that is the mistake she made. But yeah, she locked them in. So Lulu gets upset, like super upset with my roommate because she's like, you are the one who started all of these things. And now Diana has broken our table. She has she attacked Lulu's boyfriend and she cut his hand a little bit. So there was blood and hey, my goodness, there was just chaos. And now, I don't know, Diana comes out, her loud mouth, anonge, like, kama ushisikia mama wa plot 10 vile huwa wanaongea, that was Diana. And so me, I'm in my room and I'm like, these guys. And then they leave. I don't know who was trying to run away. And Diana amefukuzwa, amesukuma mpaka huko nje. So my roommate, alivuta Diana akamrusha nje apartment. All these houses have cameras. So the moment you get out of your apartment hivi, camera imeanza kukumonitor. So while they were outside creating chaos outside there, walionekana na camera, there's a security guard downstairs at the entrance to the apartment. So anawaona tu kwa camera. So yeye akaita nini, I don't know, unaweza muita caretaker or the buildings manager or something. And then they call the landlady. The landlady comes because she was downstairs. Her sister used to live in the same apartment building, but like on the 3rd floor. So she called, they come from downstairs. So it's now chaotic. The landlady, the sister, and the landlady's brother-in-law, they all come and now it's just become even worse. I was still sat on my bed. So I was like, I'm not getting involved with this madness. And there I knew, askari wakitwa sisi wote tumeenda ndani. Even me who was not involved. Because these askaris will come saying yala and kila mtu atabeba. I've never been afraid for my life like I was on that day. Because I was like, I'm not even a part of this. But if the askaris come, kila mtu kwa apartment anabebwa. Mtenda kuongelea mbele. And if you cannot speak Arabic, ole wako. And the next thing they do, deportation. And I'm like, Jesus, mimi nilikuja huku ndo nideportiwe kama gunia mahindi. Like it was so chaotic. So Diana anyway ndo alicause chaos nje ya corridor. Yeye ndo alifanya askari wakaona, wakaita manager, the landlady akaitwa, wanakuja, they're trying to placate people. Lulu gets upset with my roommate and she slaps my roommate. My roommate is old enough to be my mother. Lulu is older, but she's older than me, but she's younger than my roommate. So her slapping her is just out of the way. It's a no-no. Like, it was just, no. My roommate amewekwa kofi, akabaki ati, what did you just do? She beat Lulu. Like the person who was even telling this story was the landlady, because after everything calmed down, she was like, what? Did you see the way now my roommate was beating up on Lulu after she slapped? Like slap. How dare you slap somebody, an elder woman, somebody who's older than you? How dare you? And she was thinking that she won't, like rudisha them corner or whatever. So, Lulu alitandikwa na my roommate, alitandikwa. And then, of course, they get separated, and they're like, the landlady is shouting. She's like, everybody that was involved, I want you out of this apartment because what you have done is going to create chaos for me. And it did, actually, it did. Because now we started being asked to get out of the apartment, and I'm just glad I left before everything turned out badly. But I think the landlady moved out after we left. I don't know. But yeah, so Lulu has been beaten up. She's in her room. She's upset. She's locked herself inside there. Her boyfriend is trying to placate her, and the landlady is shouting, and everything comes down. She is called to management downstairs. She goes and tries to talk to them, tries to like rationalize with them, to reason with them, and just be like, hey, I wasn't in the apartment. And the person who created the chaos was Diana. So everything was thrown on Diana because she didn't live in our building. So like they were like, it was Diana's fault. She came with her boyfriend and they were drinking, and then she created the whole chaos. So there was blood on the corridor. The Askaris want to know, that blood, who did it belong to? Has somebody been hurt in our apartment? Is somebody dead in our apartment? So the landlady says, it is this lady. So after the Askaris leave, now we lock ourselves in the apartment. The landlady comes and is like, what happened? And through the chaos, through the commotion, the truth that were being told, at some point, Lulu even tried to hit the landlady. That's how, like, she had gone mad. She even tried to hit the landlady, who had just come because she has been called and she's been told there's chaos in your apartment. So she comes and she's like, what is happening? Lulu tries to slap her, and then she starts insulting the landlady. Hey, the landlady let it all be known. She knew about those two men, and apparently it wasn't just those two. So Lulu used to bring men into the apartment early mornings. So her boyfriend will wake up, leave and go to work. Lulu would wake up, make breakfast for him. He would have breakfast. After he leaves, Lulu goes back and opens the door for somebody else. Now, for the Africans who are in the UAE, in Sharjah especially, they have this thing. They can date other Africans, they can date the Arabs, they can date Wazungus, but they cannot date the Pakistani and the Indians and the Bangladesh guys or whatever. Like, as long as you're Asian, yeah, Waindi and Pakistani and Nini, they cannot date them. But Lulu hakuwa anabagua. So apparently one time the landlady alimpata, I won't tell the whole story, but the landlady saw her inviting this Pakistani guy into her room. And she was like, what is happening? So when Lulu finished whatever she was doing, of course, again, she sneaked him out. And nobody knew. Because by the time this guy is going to work, everybody else is still asleep. So we used to start our day at 9. But now the landlady was a teacher, so she used to leave earlier. Not exactly the time that Lulu's boyfriend used to go to work, but it used to be early. So she saw them a couple of times. So everything was revealed. It wasn't just one man. It was like Lulu was running her own sort of brothel in that room. A room that was being paid for by another man. And hearing that story, I was like, what? Like, I understand women. I know that women can be selfish and can be unreasonable and can be, all these, I don't know, just bad people sometimes. But she took hers to another level. How do you bring men to sleep with you on the same bed that you're sleeping with your so-called husband? And again, I put it in quotes. In his room, he pays for this apartment. He pays for that room. Everything you are, the way you dress, whatever you eat, your credit, your, like, everything he does for you. And you still do that. Different men every other day. That was Lulu. So anyway, with all these truths being revealed, her boyfriend was like, leave. I'm not going to tolerate this. They argued. Lulu became even more upset with my roommate because she was like, my roommate is the one who has started it all and all of that. So she left. The next day, she took her things and she left. We don't know where she went to live, but she left. So the case begins. The building's manager has started asking questions. They're trying to find out who started the whole thing. So the landlady decides Diana and Lulu, because they're friends and it was Lulu's apartment that they started the whole chaos from. And so they're like, yeah, she's the one who was the problem and she has already left, because now we want the risk of being removed from this apartment. And it's Sharjah. Such beautiful apartments as the one that we were living in, they're not just all over the place. Most places do not even accept Africans. So we weren't just going to accept living. So kila mtu akasema ni Lulu. Okay, si kila mtu, because me, I never spoke on these things. Mi nilikuwa naambiwa tu story na baki, what? Akafanya? And then, oh my God, oh no. So, I didn't want to be a part of it. But my roommate was enjoying telling and retelling the story in different versions. Alafu ananiingiza kwa mix yake. Like hata muulize huyu sister yangu, muulizeni, atawaambia. And I'm like, please stop. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to lie. Because she was lying so much. She was changing the story to suit her. She was part of the problem, by the way. I will not even lie for her. She was part of the problem. Yeah, Diana, Lulu, same WhatsApp group. They were part of the problem. But anyway, the blame was put on Lulu because it was her room, and on Diana because yeye ndo alivunja glass na kakatana watu, damu ikamwagika and everything. So we didn't know where Lulu was living, but kulikuwa na rumors. And the thing in Dubai or in Sharjah is, kitu ikifanyika hivi to any African, vile hiyo channel inazungushwa, like imefanyika kwa apartment yenyu within an hour, imezunguka mtu wako huko Sharjah buildings sijui gani ashajua. And I'm like, how? Your story mmejuaje? But anyway, that's what happened. So Lulu, bad luck yake ilianzia hapo, because she was even lying. There's something she said to the landlady while they were arguing. Alisema at if I'm lying, because she was telling the landlady that she was lying about the men who come into her room after her boyfriend has left. And Lulu said, like, if no, you are lying. I can even swear on the Bible you are lying. The landlady, who's Muslim by the way, said, you are swearing on the Bible, on a holy book. If I am lying, then may it come back to bite me. But if you are lying using the Bible, may it come to bite you. So after Lulu ametoka hivi, mashida zilimkumba. It was one thing after the other. I won't go into them, but ilikuwa tunasikia tu Lulu amefanyiwa hivi, Lulu sijui mali fulani, oh Lulu anapigia huyo boyfriend yake, oh babe I do not have money, sijui nililala wapi kwa bed space, sina pesa. And the guy, I don't know, mapenzi ama tu ni light skin, he would send her money and stuff. And then one day in the morning, one of my roommate's friends comes and she's like, Lulu was arrested yesterday. So when you get arrested, unapelekwa kwa deportation camp. Actually, I think they take you first to sort of jail, and then they take you to the deportation camp, and then you are sent back home to your country. So Lulu alishikwa, and then of course her boyfriend comes back in the evening from work and he tells us the story about the way Lulu was arrested. He tried to go and find her, but askari wamwambie mali yuko. And then when he finally found where she was, they weren't allowing him to see her. Mara sijui she needs a phone ama sijui kuna specific line ya UAE unafaa kuwe nayo ndio uweze kuaccess like your phone call ile unapewangu upigie watu ukiwa ndani. So anyway, they were able to, the boyfriend managed to get a line and stuff, and she was communicating, but eventually she was deported back to Kenya. Now, this is somebody who didn't have a job in the UAE. So I hope that she had saved enough when she came back. Haikuwa able. Unajua, the thing ni, ukidipotiwa, zile nguo ulikuwa umevaa, ukishikwa, ndio utarudi nazo Kenya. So walikuwa wamevaa tu shorts na hizo matops Lulu, as I told you what she used to dress in. So hiyo ungeshikwa UAE na the askaris over there, Kama umevaa hivyo scantily ndani, roho safi, they won't even argue with you, because they used to say African women are seducing their men. So ilikuwa tu ukishikwa ni ndani. And as I told you, the Filipinas, the Indians, hata wavae booty short, kuna mtu anashughulika nao. But African women, it was like you're just tempting them. Na hiyo unaenda ndani. So Lulu was arrested. The boyfriend akajaribu kupeleka bag na manguo nini apewe. I don't know if she was given. I hope she was, because the way she was dressed, sidhani kama angetravel na afike Kenya akifeel vizuri, especially nili barida kwanga kwa ndege. If she was still in her short shorts, I don't know. But yeah, that was how Lulu's story ended. She ended up being deported into Kenya. Alafu, I don't know how she's doing right here, right now. Sijui kama bado yuko Kenya, ama she has left and gone to another country. But even when she was in Kenya, she was still causing chaos, especially for my roommate, because as I told you, uko channels za communication, udaku, very, very strong. Zina, kitu inafanyika hapo shisikilia kwa nangine. So she still was keeping up with what was happening there. But that boyfriend of hers, the Senegalese guy, the one that they were so in love, they were living together. After Lulu left, I told you about the pimps of the UAE, the pimps of Sharjah. The moment Lulu left and came to Kenya, that man did not even spend a week single. Alikuwa shauliza atafutiwe. So as I said, my roommate is a hairdresser. There's this lady, a friend of hers, she's also Kenyan. Yeah, she's Kenyan. She came atengenezwe nywele, another light skinned. Ako hapo anashukwa. Lulu's boyfriend comes home, sees her, and he's like, yo, who is this? Huyu mwanaume alifuata huyo dem because she started making her hair, but then she had to go and do some shopping before ikuwe late sana, ndo arudi amalize kushuka. When she left, sijui what happened, and they started looking for her because time ilikuwa inasonga sana and she wasn't back, blah blah blah. This man offered to go kumtafuta. He didn't find her. She came on later. Then they started drinking in the middle of the night. Like, it was just crazy. But this man was, I don't know, starstruck or whatever. Sijui what was happening. He kept asking about her, asked about her number. And I think by the time I was leaving, they were either dating or they had started. And the lady was like, no, because he was such a, I don't know how to put it in a delicate way, but he wasn't a manly man. Like, the way he was behaving like a kid. Like, who dates a woman that his brother was dating? Like, kuna tu vitu alikuwa anafanya, the way he was so whiny and everything. For me, he was immature. I used to look at him and just feel like, this is an immature guy. So I think that's the same thing that lady read from him. And she was like, nitakula tu pesa yake, and then after that, I'm done. I'm not interested in him, like, to be my husband or my boyfriend forever or whatever. But kama ni pesa nataka kuspend, I'll eat it gladly. But yeah, hiyo ndio ilikuwa story yao. But even as Lulu was in Nairobi, I think she was still asking money from the boyfriend, and he was sending, because ako na ile roho ya woye. So whenever she'll be like, nahitaji pesa ya kitu fulani, he will send. Nahitaji pesa ya nini, he will send. And you know, he will come into our room and tell us, yeah, Lulu was asking for money and I sent it to her. So yeah, I don't know how he is right now since I was there. It's almost a year. So sijui if he's still there. But I think he's still there because his job was good. He had a good job. But he had moved to their accommodation by the time I was leaving, which was good because now he was saving money. Because hiyo room alikuwa nilipia around 1,600 dirhams. Hiyo ni pesa ange save. Juu akikaa kwa accommodation, he's not paying for the accommodation. He's not paying for food. He's not paying for the accommodation. Utakula chakula unless he wants to eat something different, special or whatever. But pesa yake ingekuwa yake. So I hope he's settled na hakuenda kukata na mtu mwingine. I spend all that money for no reason. But Lulu, I don't know how she's doing in Nairobi. Ama if she's still in Nairobi, ama she left. I don't know, because by the time she was getting to Dubai, she had worked in Saudi Arabia. She had worked in Qatar. She had worked in Abu Dhabi, all of those places as a house girl. And then ndo akamit huyu kijana. And then she stopped. Contract alikuwa sijui akifanya kazi ya nini kaisha. Then she settled as a housewife. And I put that in quotes again. So, I don't know. I hope alikuwa develop my 1, 2, 3 Kenya. But either way, it's fine. It's not my life, it's hers. And because she's been all over the place, I'm sure. Yani, I think sidhani kama ni mtu angesettle Kenya, so maybe amerudi mahali huko nje, but yeah, I haven't followed up. Maybe I'll ask my roommate and see where she is, or if she knows where she is. I'm sure she knows something, but yeah, that's my story about Lulu, one of the people I met while I was in Sharjah last year. Next Saturday, I'll tell you about, because I don't talk about Diana, because Diana's story and Lulu's story are almost the same, and I touched on Lulu and Diana's story last time. So on during this event that I've just told you, since that event, Diana never came back to our building because huko alikuwa uko monitored, like cameras zimesha mark, akionekana anashikwa. She might have been deported as well by now, because wakishika Lulu walikuwa na Diana, but Diana akadanganya ako na mimba and she cried, akaachiliwa, but Lulu ya akashikwa. So I don't know, but maybe time yake ilifika eventually, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'll think about what other story to tell you, because there are a lot of interesting people that I met while there. It won't be as tabia za upuzi kama hii, but yeah, kuna stories zingine nilikuwa nacheka but unarudi kulia juu unahurumia mtu, zingine unasikiza and you're just like, oh okay, but either way, I'll keep telling you the little things I experienced while I was there every other Saturday until I'm done with the stories that I experienced. So, yeah, I hope you're going to tune in and listen the next time I put another story up, and that you're going to be entertained by it. If you have any questions, as I said before, you can DM me on my Instagram, Mimi's Musings Podcast, or you can comment down below and just tell me what part of the story you enjoyed or you didn't like. Like, I didn't like most of it, but yeah, or whatever. If you have questions, if you just have suggestions, if you have anything to tell me, just comment on comment section down below. You can hit the bell for notifications so that when I upload a different story, you can be the first one to listen. And yeah, while you're doing that, please remember to like and share, and please subscribe. I'm still trying, even just 100, like bado tuko under 20, like tuko bado under 50. Nipatini at 100 bus followers, please. 100 subscribers, and I'll really appreciate. Please subscribe, and when you subscribe, don't just subscribe and walk away. Subscribe and come back and listen every time I put a new video up, and I'll be very grateful. Okay, bye bye now. Love you.